Good morning, dear ones. Wonderful to be back with you. It is Tuesday morning, and I am coming to you from the old mission in Santa Barbara, California. I am visiting my Franciscan friends here and having an amazing time. But I'm also very excited that on Thursday, I'll be flying back to Namaste Village. So I'm going to be back with all of you. I can see everybody clapping. Thank you. It's so good to know that you missed me. And it's also good to know that things didn't wobble too much when I'm gone. Sometimes when I leave, you can feel this wobbly. And all that really means is that we are coming into our own certainty that this is true. Our own certainty that everything that we share here every day is reality. We're beginning to have a concrete experience of that reality, not just intellectually, because reality, as we know, cannot be experienced intellectually. We can have the illusion of an intellectual reality, but it's all an illusion until we have that deep experience, and of this we cannot speak. There are no words, there are no concepts that can describe the awesomeness, the brilliance, the vibratory reality of the experience of our divinity, of our oneness. But we know it when it's there because it's so unlike anything that has ever gone before. And it shows us concretely that the world that we thought we were perceiving is not real, is not the real world. Nothing more than a projection or an idea that we want to be true. And so we project all of our wants, all of our desires, all of our separation onto everything that we're seeing. And it seems to give us meaning. It seems to give us reality. But the experience that we share here every day and join in every day is the opportunity for us to see through that so-called reality to the real world, where only love is real, where there is no competition, where everything I could possibly ever truly need or desire has already been given to me. Nothing is held back, but we have to be willing. There's going to be always a part of us that wants to make an exception. Well, I'm willing to accept that the world is not real, but this part I want to be real. I want my relationships, my career. I want these things to be a little speck of reality in the illusion. And unfortunately, if we make one exception to the truth, to the real world, we're held within the whole illusion. And every religion, every spiritual teacher has talked about this, has given us examples of this. For example, I know that many of you are Course in Miracles students, and it speaks of this over and over and over again. The world I see is not the real world. Beyond this world, there is a world that I want. Beyond this perception, this way of seeing, there is a reality. And that's what I really want. So I want to share a quote with you that is one of those uncompromising launch pads. It's a launch pad because it gives us an opportunity to really explore this together, to consider that there's something going on here that I currently can't explain or can't appreciate mentally, but if I'm willing to be as uncompromising with it as it is with me, something will spark in my mind. Something will illuminate within me, and it will show me something that I was unwilling or unable to see before. I've used the analogy before of being in a completely pitch dark room. There's no light. You can't see with your eyes anything at all, but you bump into furniture, you bump into lamps, and all you can do is feel them. And so you make decisions of what you think you're feeling. based upon misinformation. And the chair becomes an elephant and the lamp becomes a dragon, and you're afraid of these things and you think that these things might attack you. But then suddenly a little corner of a curtain falls down, and it's just enough light that comes into the room that you can begin to focus your eyes on what these things really are. And at first, you're just seeing shapes. And at first, you're not seeing everything in its detail, but you're able to see that it's not necessarily a dragon that you thought it was, or it's not really an elephant. And so you pull down this curtain a little bit more, and you maybe crack the door open because it was never really locked. And in doing so, you begin to see that there was a whole different experience going on that you were unable to see because there was no light. Now the light has come. What you're hearing here is the light. What you're experiencing is the light. And as you see this light and it begins to illumine all of those dark shadows that you mistook for reality, you begin to see and to realize that there's nothing for you to be afraid of, that nothing true can harm you, and nothing that's not true is there at all. It's just in your mind. It's just a projection of a fearful idea that you could be separate from all that is. And all we come together to experience and to share here every day is that that's impossible. You cannot separate from all that is, except in your imagination. You cannot leave heaven. You are whole, you are protected, you are loved even now. But in order to come into that experience, we need to hear this uncompromising truth. So I want to share just a couple of lines that actually comes to us from a biblical source. And this comes from one of the letters of John. So John, as we know, sometimes called the beloved disciple. You know, and back in the day when I first started writing and forming this community, we called it the community of the beloved disciple, because John was the one who had a mystical understanding of things that maybe the other followers of Jesus struggled with. He was the one that was given the care of Jesus's mother after his resurrection and ascension. After he left this plane, John was the one who cared for the divine feminine. And there were mysteries within that divine feminine current that John was able to embody. Most of all, John was able to see, and he was able to see through what most of us believe to be the real world. But now we realize there is a whole nother reality, not an illusion of reality, but the real world. And that's what we really are desiring. But in order to get there, we have to listen to what we're about to hear. We have to really take it in and to remember that this is the most challenging lesson you're ever going to hear. And many of you are going to nod your head and say, yes, I believe that. But do you really? Do you really accept what you're about to hear? I hope you do. Because if you are willing, even a little bit willing, this is going to be enough to pull that curtain down so that the light can begin to trickle into the room and you can begin to see all the things that you mistook for reality and begin to feel the reality that you truly want and that you truly deserve. So let me just read these two sentences that come to us from one of the letters that John wrote almost 2,000 years ago. He said, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world." Let's just stop there for a moment. Don't love anything in the world. That is a revolutionary idea. Don't love anything, he's saying. Don't attach to anything. But what we're going to find out is that when you come unattached, when you come wholly empty with a single desire for the kingdom, then everything that you need is given to you in order to allow you to see that reality. Everything is given to you in order to allow you to see reality, not just to hold you here or to block your experience of that reality, the possessions, all of the different things that you think you need to survive, to have a good life, all of those things that are really blocking you from the only real life that you could ever possibly really have. That there's going to be an experience that comes to you that shows you that there's a whole nother way of living, but you have to be willing. So once again, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. Now that's like the left that's getting ready for the right cross. So now we've had the left jab that's going to get your attention. But let me read now the next line that comes to us from the letter of John. That is the most difficult, but the most important. It says, if any person loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. If you love anything in this world, then the love of God is not in you. Whoa. That's strong stuff. And we're going to rebel until we don't. We're going to resist until we realize that resistance is futile. We're going to try and find something in this world that is truly lovable. Now, this is not saying to give your love, to not give your love to every moment, to every person, to every, in fact, when you do that in a whole way, this is when you come into the experience. The problem is a partial giving, a partial loving. I love this, but not that. And when we fall into the trap of this, not that, then we're in the dual universe rather than singularity, non-dualism. When I can come into a direct experience of what this is saying, that I'm not called to love anything in the world, but all that is, with my whole mind, my whole heart, my whole soul, to give it all completely, because this is then the projection of my love rather than the projection of my ideas about love, or my projection of the needs that I think I have that create an unreal world. If I project only my love in a total sense, then I realize that love is totally mine right now, right here, in this moment, and my eyes open, and I'm able to see what has been so clear all along, but finally I'm able to see. It's like, if I'm not wearing my glasses, I can look and I can, if I put you guys in gallery, I can see faces. I'm gonna do that right now. I can see forms, but I can't see you. I can't see the reality of you. But if I put them on, it's like, oh, there's Sue. Oh, hey, there's Leslie. Hi. There's Carolyn. Wow. And wow, there's Teddy and Vicky. I can see now because I was willing to look in a new way, the only way. I was able to pull back my valuing of what is partial, this rather than that, and give everything, give all to all. And then the love of God is within me. If I love anything of the world, the love of the Father is not in me. But if I love everything as God loves it, then only love is in me. Only reality is real. And I come into a direct experience of that I can't even communicate in words, but people will feel it. I've been spending time here with a dear friend of mine, a Franciscan named Father Larry Goslin. If any of you have ever met him, you know. He's been to Namaste, so a lot of the guys there know him. He's like other people. Well, Vicky always gets embarrassed, but she's also a good example of this. When you're with them, you feel it. You feel the vibrancy. You feel the light. You feel that love just emanating. And when you go around town here in Santa Barbara with Father Larry, people literally run out of stores and jump out of their cars, Father Larry, and they wrap their arms around him. He cannot pay for a meal in a restaurant. He goes into any restaurant in town, they won't let him pay because they're so happy that he is there because they feel it in him. There's that vibrancy, that fire, and they feel it. It's like a glimpse into the real world through the presence of one who is fully present. Through the presence of one who is fully present. And that's what we are all called to. But we only begin to access that when we take what John said and take it within. Don't resist it. Don't push it away immediately. That's the temptation, to say, no, there is reality in this world. Is there? I mean, is it possible that you just find yourself in a kind of insane asylum that you've mistook for reality? I mean, look around, be honest. Beyond this world, there is a world that I want, that I really want, and I'm going to give everything. This is the pearl of inestimable price. This is the jewel that is buried in a field, and I sell everything so that I can buy that field and have that single experience. Give everything. In other words, give your love completely. Don't hold back. This is the moment you chose to awaken. There is no other moment but this, and you wouldn't be here if you weren't ready. So say yes, step in, don't hold back. It's happening. The water's great. So I'm going to hold there and turn it over to Vicki and Teddy, because I would just love to just tap them in the hand and let them share their brilliance and their brightness and their heat. So Vicki, we'll turn to you first. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Brother James, and so nice to see you there with Brother Larry and know that you're in that community. It's like being at Namaste. You have your family of brothers that are living in that awareness and living out of that grace. So this is the practical piece that it brings to mind for me, that I test myself all the time with. If there's an effort or struggle, then I'm dealing with the dragons and I'm seeing partially. That's why forgiveness is so important. It's not that you forgive the table for not being a dragon. You don't see it, you see it, or you think you see it as a dragon. There is nothing to forgive when the light goes on. You just see it wasn't so. And that's how this is. And every bit of effort and struggle is the way to keep the light off. It's the way to maintain the illusion of importance for whatever it is we're thinking or looking at. It's the way we keep our fear hidden. And that's why this is so simple, but not always easy, because it's the resting and relaxing into presence by letting go of effort and struggling that brings that sense of presence up into our awareness. And you don't have to be a mystic forever in all your lifetimes and now and all that to do it. The awareness that I'm efforting or struggling is enough to say, no, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be. And the hard thing to realize because of our ego thinking is that this realization comes with effortlessness. It comes with resting in, letting everything be the mess that it is. Just let it be. And rest into this presence with a will directed to opening to it, to desiring it. Not wishful thinking that I wish the dragons were better behaved, but will that wants the truth, that wants love. And the fruit of that is natural, effortless, wholehearted, loving grace that pours through, like what you're talking about, Father Larry. What a great example he is. Jimmy, as you are. Great example of it's effortless, but it is wholehearted because that's the nature of love. Love just pours forth. It doesn't worry about this or that. There's no maneuvering. It's just a free fall of giving and loving. But it's always natural and appropriate. It doesn't conflict because there's nothing to conflict with. So there's no effort, there's no struggle. It's just a full-on give. But the way to it, the better way, is for me, when I see the effort and the struggle, I just step back. That's it, and say, okay, I can't see. It's not that I want to make the better decision. It's impossible to make a better decision. In the dark, they're all dragons and snakes. And the only way out is find the light. And the light is not by efforting or struggling, it's by letting go of it all. And just, here I am, Lord, and I'm just here putting all my attention on you. Come into my awareness. Here I am. And that 100% wholehearted desire for only that allows it, because now we're willing for the truth, not wishing for images anymore. We're using our being to will that the truth be true and expressed in us. And it has to, because it is already what we are.
Mm. Wow, thank you, Vicki. As always, you bring it right back to the practical application. And I love you share this all the time, different ways of saying, just let it be. You don't need to change it. There's no effort that's required to make it be something different. Or the other thing that you say a lot, that I've been thinking about a lot lately, especially in terms of healing, is pay it no mind. Those are your words. Pay it no mind. If you have an illness or a discomfort, pay it no mind. Literally, no mind. Don't put your mind on it. Put your whole mind, your whole heart, your whole longing upon the divine, upon reality, whatever word you want to use for that. But don't pay it the so-called dysfunction any mind at all. This is the escape hatch, guys. This is how you just effortless your way out into reality. You don't try to change it, because trying to change it means that it needs to be changed and that I have the ability to change it. You don't, and it doesn't. The only thing that needs to be changed is the way you look upon everything and your willingness to love everything. So as always, Vicki, thank you so much for that practical wisdom. And now let's turn to Teddy. Teddy, what do you want to share?
Well, I was just listening to what you were saying, and the idea that we would try to change something it gives the something a reality that it doesn't have. I mean, if we think we can change something, we're giving it a reality, and it doesn't have any reality. And that's the hard part, to recognize that there is no reality in this world. Even with love, when you were talking earlier, you know, until you have the experience of love as the totality of reality, you're going to think you know what love is, and you're always going to be wrong. And you set up a hierarchy of illusion. And that's not what this is all about. The truth is true, and nothing else is true. And there's nothing true in this world, nothing whatsoever. So we don't have to change anything. We just have to look at it all as sort of a single lie and be willing to let go of the lie in its entirety. Now, when that happens is when you actually do that. If it's not happening, then you're not doing it. And that's something helpful. If you're not having the experience, then you are not doing what's required, which is allowing love to be a totality. And that's a good way to learn. It's the worst thing that comes along with that is the idea of judgment. We judge ourselves as being lacking or faulty, and the judgment will always hold us back. Just don't judge. Allow everything to be exactly the way it is, and seek nothing in this world. Because love it's not even beyond this world. It's all there is. And to know what all there is, you have to give up the world in its entirety. And we start with little things. We start, learning how to do that by looking at things in the world and letting them go until finally it's the entirety of the world that has to be let go of because none of it's real. And what love is total. It's not beyond anything. It's the only thing there is.
There you have it. It's the only thing there is. Why wouldn't we put our focus and our heart into the only thing there is rather than the everything that there isn't? And so this world that we thought was real, which we now can begin to see through it because it really is transparent, if we don't project upon it, if we're not projecting our desires and our hopes and our dreams and our grievances upon the world, then it becomes transparent. And we realize that the world that I thought I saw is about to end. And as you were talking, I felt guided to go to the teacher's manual in A Course in Miracles, and to this one part, and ask the question, how will the world end? This world that we're talking about, how is it going to end, right? We're always conditioned through our movies and our stories and everything. Oh my God, the world is ending. I don't know how many of you have seen the new movie on Netflix called Don't Look Up. Have you seen it? It's absolutely brilliant and it's terrifying at the same time. Don't look up because you don't want to see that, there's a comet coming, the world is about to end. But here, it's not a comet that's ending, it's just true perception. It's true perception that's going to end the world. So it says here, can what has no beginning really end? Can what has no beginning really end? The world will end in an illusion as it began, yet will its ending be an illusion of mercy? Actually, I read it as a question. It shouldn't be a question. It should be a statement. Yet will its ending be an illusion of mercy? The illusion of forgiveness, complete, excluding no one, limitless in gentleness, will cover it, hiding all evil, concealing all sin, and ending guilt forever. Isn't that what you want? To end the guilt, suffering, disease, everything forever by looking through it, by giving it no mind, by letting it be what it is. Don't try and change it. It's hard. This is a hard thing because the world puts these hooks into us, and it holds us, it fastens us. That's okay. Just begin to release them one by one. What I really want is the kingdom of God. What I really want is love eternal. One by one, those hooks, those strings, those ropes that have bound us to this illusory world are removed and we fly. We fly. Why not now? It could happen this moment if you choose, so why not? And once again, that's why we come together here. That's why we join, because it gives us the strength and the courage and the community to do just that. So thank you, my dear brothers and sisters. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, Teddy. I just love sharing with you. And I'll be back on Thursday morning. Oh no, Thursday night, but I'll be back in the session on Friday. But I will be here tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow as well. So please join us again, as always. And why don't we go ahead now and we will share our final prayer. Let me pull that up. Here we go. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so it is. Namaste, everyone.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy to.
Namaste. Thank you. I love you all.
I love you too.
Bye for now.
Namaste.
Enjoy, James.